This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
Good evening. Welcome to the September 28th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. My name is Larry Lazaroff, Chairman. To my left is Robin Wilson, Vice Chairman. To my right, Mark Calafiore, Secretary, Alda Mead, Commissioner, and Robert Hanning, Commissioner. I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes from the July 27th, 2021 meeting, both executive and regular session, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes of the August 31st special meeting also, please.
30.
August 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mark, any correspondences?
Yes, sir. We have two pieces of correspondence. One is from the Reverend R.C. Marquette, and he's praising Officer Marv Carter for her assistance that she gave to him while his car was broken down. So he's calls her an excellent police officer, very good person, and we all concur. So good job, Officer Carter, for your assistance. And this is from a Lieutenant Joe Romano. Joe Romano's a lieutenant in West Haven. He's a resident here in North Haven. And last month, unfortunately, he was the victim of an identity theft. So he came to the station there, of course, and he was greeted by Lieutenant Matt Falcon, who directed him to Officer Petrillo, who assigned him the case. And he's just, he was very, he said he was treated with class, treated with dignity, and these officers, Lieutenant Falcon and Officer Petrillo, were extremely professional and should be recognized for their actions. So good job, Lieutenant Falcon and Officer Luke Petrillo, for your actions. And he's proud of the officers, and as are we. So thank you very much.
Good job.
For that.
And that's it. And again, we encourage you to please write letters, correspondences to the department. We'd like to read them and bring them, put them on the record. It's good for the officers as well. So thank you for that. As far as Chairman's report, I'm going to go over the usual request to remind everybody to please lock your cars, your homes, your sheds. We have to do a little bit of prevention ourselves. We can't give them a crime of opportunity by leaving things unlocked. I'd also like to remind everybody that there's a lot more children and adults on the road these days with bicycles, and it's fall, and they're playing, and they're running, and they're jogging. And as a matter of fact, in the front page of the New Haven Register this past week, there was an article about how some people have been gotten injured and hit by motor vehicles who are not paying attention. So please be careful as you're driving around our streets and everywhere you're going, because we don't want to have these kinds of situations. So let's talk a little bit about the old Broadway issue that we have had for the last couple of months and the parking situation over there. I'll give you a little rundown as to what I've been up to and what the fellow commissioners have been up to as well. We've spoken to the tenants on Old Broadway individually and gotten their input as to what the situation is, the concerns. I've met with the fire chief and going over the concerns as well over in that area for public safety as far as getting a fire truck down there or any kind of an emergency vehicle. So I had his input as well as to maybe what we should do as far as no parking areas. Following that, I did meet with the town public works, Mike Maturo, to show him where the fire chief and the tenants were concerned that maybe this preventing this parking in this area would help alleviate the issues on Old Broadway. So that being said, this past Monday, Mike Maturo and Public Works had marked on the ground, not striped yet, but it will be striped at some point soon, the areas on the north side, not the entire north side, but the areas that will allow an emergency vehicle to come down the street and make it turn into any of the driveways, God forbid there's an emergency situation. That should happen soon, hopefully. Once that's done, the police department will erect signs of no parking from this point to that point, and hopefully this will help resolve the situation that we have over there on Old Broadway, I'm sorry. So we look forward to hopefully getting a nice resolve with that, and hopefully that everybody will be happy, and I really appreciate everybody taking the time, including the commissioners who helped me and supported me as well on this project, to hopefully alleviate some of the issues we have in that area, and to the appeasement of the tenants as well as the patrons of the restaurant in that area. And that's about it. I'm happy about that. I hope it works out well for everybody.
Are we going to make a motion on that?
So we need to make a motion that we're going to have the striping done. It's
Yeah.
been marked, like I said, but we'd like to hear a motion about making this happen so we can approve this, obviously, and get this thing done.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that, based on your interaction with everybody there, that we're going to put the striping and the aforementioned signs, the no
Perfect.
parking signs.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, excellent.
And I want to
Discussion?
I was just going to say, I want to thank Larry and everybody else, because there was a tremendous amount of work done on everybody's part to try and make this as easy and pleasant for everybody to work it out between them. And I think you've done a great job in trying to make that happen.
Thank you.
So we hope that everybody will abide by what everybody in the area has decided would be best.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of echo those remarks myself. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Larry in particular and the rest of the commissioners to coming to a successful end to
Real
this
so.
parking issue. I know, because I've been on this board 17 years, and one of the most contentious and acrimonious things that we get involved in are parking issues. It always leaves one person or a group of people either very happy and then the other group extremely unhappy. So this is just a testament to your leadership and taking the bull by the horns and meeting with all these people, that at least we have some semblance, it looks like, of satisfied people. So it's good for
Thank you.
all the businesses there. So thank you for your leadership, Larry. We appreciate it.
Thank you, my pleasure. Hope it works out well for everybody. Okay, that being said, I've got nothing further. I will pass this then along to the chief's report.
Thank you. We're also glad that this parking issue is behind us. I'll start with our budget report. Our budget's currently at 22.9% expended. So we're in very good shape as we close out the first quarter of our fiscal year. You may notice some large expenditures as you review the budget, but most of those, if not all, are annual maintenance packages that we pay one time that covers us for the whole year. So some of those percentages may be skewed a little bit, but we're in good shape. We're under budget. We closed last fiscal year at 96.3%. As you know, with all the COVID-related expenses, the 2 large storms, and the protests that we dealt with, we're very happy that we were able to come in under budget. I have 3 requests for a traffic report this month. The first one is in regards to Old Clintonville Road. I received 7 letters from residents on Old Clintonville regarding traffic concerns, mainly speeding. The request is for a speed table on Old Clintonville Road. This is a stretch of roadway from the 400 block of Clintonville to Ribbon Road. Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. I did a 10-year history check in-house as far as accidents. There were only 3 accidents with injuries and 3 minor accidents, cars versus mailboxes with no injuries. So not very substantial.
That's in 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. So I do not support the idea of a speed table for a number of reasons. The motor vehicle history doesn't really support a problem as far as speeding on that stretch of roadway. As you all know, with speed humps and tables and speed bumps, you have deceleration and acceleration noise that really wreaks havoc in neighborhoods. We have problems in the winter months with plowing, drainage concerns, which can be very expensive to the town. So what we have done since the complaint is we've worked with the Public Works and Town Hall, and there's a traffic island at the top of Old Clintonville Road near Route 22, which is Clintonville Road. That island has been repaired. The curbing all around the island has been painted with high visibility yellow painting, and a new sign that says divided highway has been installed. The sign was already approved, it was just damaged and dull. So my recommendation is that our traffic division will monitor the speed, get some traffic counts, and see if those improvements change anything. The second request is one resident has sent a letter concerning truck traffic in the area of Kings Highway, Mansfield Road, Blue Hills, and Outer Ridge Road. The request is for no-through truck signage. I think there's a common misunderstanding when it comes to no-through truck signage, and I'm sure all of you are aware of this, but it doesn't mean absolutely no trucks are allowed on that road. If the truck is housed in North Haven business, or if the truck is housed outside of North Haven and doing business within the town boundary, that truck is allowed to drive down those roads. So a lot of people think that if you put up the signs, it's going to make trucks go around that area. That's not the case. So with that said, I would recommend that our traffic division, again, spend some time in that area. I don't believe it's a real problem as far as a cut through. We'll spend some time in the area to try to identify if there are trucks cutting through from Hamden to Wallingford, for example, opposed to trucks from Amazon or some of our local businesses just accessing the roads, which they're allowed to do. I received an email from a resident regarding the intersection of Rock Road and Culver. This is the property or the intersection adjacent to the Montague Elementary School. Request is for 2 stop signs on Rock Road and a crosswalk from Culver to the school property. Currently, we have a crosswalk, and when school's in session, we have crossing guards on Rock Road at the intersection of Manor Drive. That's the intersection that's closest to the school. We think it's the most appropriate as far as a crosswalk to get the school children from that neighborhood to the school. Where that crosswalk is, again, on Manor Drive, there's sidewalks on both sides of the road. That's really where we want to funnel these kids, keep them on the sidewalk for safety concerns. Where this request is being made on Culver, there's no sidewalks on the west side of the road. So we don't think it's appropriate to entertain stop signs at all, and even a crosswalk, because you'd be going from a grassy area to the school property.
Mhm.
So I would recommend that we don't entertain that. Does anybody have any questions as far as those 3 requests for traffic?
No, I can tell you that I was at the old Clintonville area several times this past week, and I did notice that the island had been repaired, and it's very bright yellow. It's very obvious, very noticeable, and I was actually going to bring it up myself, but you did, and I think it solves a large part of that problem, and the sign's back up there, so I think it's good. So we need to make a motion then about this issue about Old Clintonville, and not putting up a sign, or not putting up speed bumps?
My recommendation would be to give you some time to have our traffic personnel
Okay.
evaluate it.
Traffic is gonna look at all 3 of these?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, okay.
So you'll bring it to the next meeting?
Perfect, okay, good. But
I
it's
just want to keep you up to date
Yeah.
with the letters that we're getting.
And
Perfect.
if we made a recommendation, maybe it would be to agree with all 3
Mhm.
issues that you've just brought up, because I agree with everything you say, both your actions and your recommendations. But you think you're next.
That's fine, okay.
So, quick question on the Kings Highway, being a resident up there, did they say what kind of trucks?
They just had an increase in truck traffic.
Okay. Because other than Amazon, FedEx, UPS, a couple pull trucks delivering water, I was shocked when I was reading that. So, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna let this all go, and then we'll get a further report next month on all 3 of these issues. Thank you.
Under new personnel, as you all know, we have 2 conditional offers of employment stemming from our last meeting here. Both are certified police officers from municipal agencies. They're both currently in the background phase of the process and both doing very well. I expect to be able to have a swearing-in ceremony at our next scheduled meeting. If you find that appropriate, timing-wise, we should be all set to do that for at least one of the officers. This evening, in executive session, we'll be interviewing several recruit-level candidates. If you find it appropriate to offer a conditional offer of employment, that person will enter the background phase of the process. We are looking to have that person attend the police academy that begins in January with a scheduled graduation date of June or July, that time frame. Then they will come back to us for field training with our training officers. We expect to have that person successful on the road in our Uniform Services Division right around September of next year, so just under 1 year from now. To give you some perspective on year-to-date numbers, as I try to do every month, incidents that we responded to this year-to-date is at 20,599. And this is not compared to last year's numbers because of because of COVID, so I'm comparing this to 2019, 2018, 2017. This year is currently 3,000 case numbers more than 2019, about 4,800 case numbers more than 2018, and about 3,600 more case numbers compared to 2017. So one more calls. Our traffic stops are still down considerably for a number of different reasons, but our calls for service are up.
Why are the traffic stops down?
We're trying to phase out of our COVID response. We have mask mandates inside. There's a townwide policy as far as COVID and interactions and going on leave, so I still think there's some anxiety as far as proactive interaction with individuals.
Okay.
Over this past month, they've increased slightly, especially the traffic division. They've really ramped up the traffic stops, but I think that's the primary reason.
Okay.
Going over to overdoses, this year we responded to 22 overdoses compared to 17, 11, and 16 those other 3 years. Stolen vehicles, we have 36 this year compared to 17, 22, and 31. And shopliftings are also up at 134 shopliftings this year compared to 87, 109, and 69. The category that has decreased, the only category that has decreased is vehicle burglaries. We have 97 this year compared to 102, 203, and 207. So as you can see in almost all categories, we're experiencing the same trend that we see statewide with an increase in crime. Specifically juvenile crime, but crime across the entire board. Of note, that vehicle burglary category that's lower, we're really happy with that. Extra efforts to spend more time in neighborhoods, especially during overnight hours. I think the media has increased their coverage and the importance of locking your doors and the statewide trend of all the thefts from unlocked vehicles. So maybe the combination of the two has helped us. Captain Stavridis has applied for a grant to assist us with the increase in crime that we see in town. We recently learned that we were awarded $35,000 in grant funding at the state level to increase our patrols on overtime. So we'll be deploying more officers, targeting neighborhoods that are seeing a rash of stolen vehicles, but also the vehicle burglars. And that's $35,000 to spend between now and the end of the calendar year.
Excellent. So I'd like to thank him very much for doing that work and getting that money for us.
We're happy we're going to be able to pay some overtime to get officers out there, and it's not going to cost the North Haven taxpayers anything. Under the Benary Scholarship, I have one request to entertain. It's one course for Officer Alex Sinanis.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Grant that.
Second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And prior to moving to executive session for the interviews, I'd like to make an announcement to the public. We're participating in the National Prescription Drug Take-Back, and that's going to occur on October 23rd at the North Haven Firehouse, 11 Broadway, and that's from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon.
Excellent. Question?
Yeah, just about the pending contract. Can we discuss that right here, or should we do that in executive session? Executive? Very good. Got some questions regarding that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I was just going to clarify that when you talk about vehicular burglaries, that's a burglary, but that's a break into a vehicle. It's after dark
It doesn't have to be forcible. It's just if you enter a vehicle and you steal
without
something.
permission after it's already dark, right?
It doesn't have to be dark.
It doesn't have to be dark for a burglary. Oh, okay.
It's just like if you enter a house
Yeah.
and steal something, that's a residential burglary. This would be a vehicle.
Could be
burglary.
day or nighttime. I just wasn't sure. Thanks.
Any other comments? Questions?
3 raccoons in the middle of the night trying to enter a vehicle. Does that count?
I don't believe so. That would be animal control. Anything else? Okay. That being said, can I entertain a motion to adjourn from regular session to go into executive session for purposes of personnel and interviews?
Make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of interviews.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are back now in open session after having interviewed in executive session 2 candidates for the position of patrol. Do I hear a motion to offer position of employment
I make that motion.
to
Michelangelo. And in the case that for some reason he does not qualify or takes another position, that we would make a secondary offer to Kevin Henninger.
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Absolutely.
All right. Any opposed? That being said, Chief will take care of that for us. Any other further business? Being none, motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.